go into a mirror match. I don't know if that would be their best bet. I don't think it would. I think maybe going for something like Rogue Mage Paladin, Rogue Mage Priest even might be a good option for ABC, but I don't know. Diabolus, they've been looking really, really good with this Mage Lock Paladin. They're actually, like we said, the only team that did end up beating X set with this composition. So ABC definitely a tall order here for them. But, you know, their lives in that top 4 are definitely on the line. If they can win this series, then their dreams continue. If not, Diabolus will be advancing, and that'll be the end of it.
All right, game has started. Game number 1, Diabolus versus ABC.
All right, let's see. Alec just sitting in the back line at the moment, channeling Greater Pyros, copying Jamili's build when we saw Charlotte Phoenix able to defeat the Mage Lock of Cloud9. So curious to see if ABC can replicate that. Currently, they're all locked down in crowd control. Nixie's the primary target. Trades out Cloak of Shadows for this initial crowd control exchange, but it wasn't any primary cooldown. So Yellow and Mercy are still a big threat. Infernals and Combustion sitting in their back pockets, and ABC need to be ready for that.
Yeah, they certainly do, and there's a ton of damage on both sides. ABC, kind of the old guard in Europe, I like to think. You know, I think Alec, his first tournament was the Invitationals back in like 2008 in Paris. He told me this guy's been a BlizzCon champion 2017. But the newer Diabolus roster, Mercy, someone that he's been around for a while, but he's only really kind of put his stamp on the circuit this year. He's been doing such a good job. Gets a full fear into the Ring of Frost, beautiful crowd control coming in as the Infernals do connect. This is scary times here for ABC. They haven't really managed to get much going themselves offensively. See if they can get that to change with Nixie popping that Vendetta.
One Greater Power Blast lands from Alec. This high haste Greater Power Blast build. Gello looking for one of his own. And Nixie's going to be really vulnerable here. He's got no Cloak of Shadows. He has no Vanish. So this is exactly what you want to see as Mage Lock. If you can get any crowd control on Asgrath, it's going to be big cooldowns. Either Trinket Sacrifice, Bubble Sacrifice, something like that. Double Dragon's Breath coming in from Gello as he looks for a Polymorph. And he manages to find one. And now Nixie in a lot of trouble. The Hammer of Justice into the coil. That immediately is the Trinket of Asgrath. Was the only thing that was going to keep Nixie alive. Gello looking for one Greater Power Blast onto Alec. Alec responds with a Polymorph, a little bit of a mage duel here in the middle of the map, but slowly but surely the main objective for Diabolus is just get Nixie's cooldowns out of the way, get crowd control in Asgrath, burst Nixie. Just rinse, repeat that setup over and over and over until they don't have an answer. And then for ABC, they're going to have to find some moments of opportunity in the match.
This is going to be the Divine Shield from Asgrath. Every single setup, Diabolus are getting one of the key points of defense from ABC. However, if that Ineffable Truth shines upon them, they could get a huge swing. Massive turnaround here by ABC, thanks to Alex setting up there in midfield, and that definitely puts their team back in the match, potentially a checkmate position, as Mercy could easily die through Unending Resolve, facing down Rogue Mage Paladin. Gellu out midfield, channeling Greater Pyro, Alec as well. Asgrath actually taking a Greater Pyro, not going to be too much consequence. Clyde to Polymorph, they're trying to burst down with a Combustion, but it was on diminishing return. Not getting the most value here. Goes for another Polymorph, do a Dragon's Breath. Really trying to power through for an Unending Resolve here on Mercy, but not finding it. Clyde's Avenging Wrath going to be more than enough. Clyde's charging in, looking for a Hammer of Justice. Are they going to Hammer of Justice the Paladin or the Rogue is the question here. Are they going to swap Paladin with no Divine Shield? Clyde gets stunned first. He triggers out. They are going to swap to Askarath. Is he going to be able to survive the stun? Massive damage. They stun up Mercy, but Gellu closes it out. Diabolus take game one.
Pretty quickly, too. I mean, that was only 3 minutes. Is that how we expected, how long that game we thought was going to be, Supatees?
Nope. Mage Lock, I never expect to go faster than like 5 minutes usually. So Diabolus saw a win condition there. Like, you know, if we go Rogue, he's going to use Cloak. So we should just go Paladin. He doesn't have Divine Shield. And then, yeah, as Healing Set was saying at the end, Ineffable Truth had to have procced for Clyde because he got Hammer of Justice into Hammer of Justice. That was just a really well-timed swap by Diabolus, and I'm glad that they're not afraid to get aggressive. That seems to be one of the main pitfalls for Mage Lock players, is their hesitation to get aggressive.
Yeah, especially considering when these two teams fought against each other in Cup number 3, if you guys remember right, these two teams went to 89% dampening, which is our current record in the AWC here. Match results now. Any takeaways from this one?
Well, I mean, just lots of crowd control coming in from Gellu and Mercy, and that's going to be the name of the game. I mean, this composition that Gelu, Mercy, and Clyde are running with the Paladin, it's actually such nice extra offense. I mean, normally with a Mistweaver Monk and a Resto Druid, they're going to be sitting back, playing very passive. It's hard for them to kind of assist, offensively, but having the Hammer of Justice from Clyde really allows Gelu and Mercy to get more setups more often, more offense. It's a really solid composition, and it seems to be working really well into Rogue Mage Paladin especially. And Diabolus, that was a very convincing win on their part. There was one moment in the game where it was really scary for Mercy, but I think that was just off the back of a couple Greater Power Blasts snuck through by Alec. And as long as they're careful of those moments, I think they got a great shot to win this series.
Mm-hmm. Now ABC is going to be picking their map choice pretty soon here. If you were this team, Supatees, what do we think we want to see from them? How are they going to at least if they want to sustain themselves a little bit longer, maybe even into dampening for game number 2 here?
I think you play Hook Point, and then Alec tries to just free cast more Greater Pyros. If Diabolus play a clean game, though, that does not look like an easy match for the Rogue Mage Paladin. So if Diabolus are able to get aggressive and get in there on top of the Rogue and the Paladin, that seems really hard. I still think you play into the small maps, and then maybe on the big maps, I just feel like I haven't been too impressed with ABC's Mage Lock, because I was thinking like maybe their only option is to mirror on a big map. I don't know. I feel like their Rogue Mage Paladin would not do too amazingly. So lock the small map, stay with Rogue Mage Paladin, and go to the big maps. They should probably consider bringing Walrix in.
All right. And then Healing Stat, what do we feel like this on the side of ABC? What is that setup that they're looking to get on Diabolus that they couldn't quite pull off for game number 1?
I mean, I thought it was trademark already, but it's those lightning fast pies if they run the same composition, right? Like, that strat was definitely collected a little bit there, Alec. And I mean, you saw it, right? There was that one time they got the Divine Shield, the Hand of Sacrifice, all these major cooldowns. And I think for Alec, he's got to, whether it's a map or whether it's just positioning, he's got to find some way of squeaking those out more often, because Gelu was doing an excellent job of shutting him down. If he can find opportunities to get 2 or 3 pies onto Mercy, that's instantly a reaction force, right? It's got to be a cooldown, because that's 100% of your health, those 3 pies.
Ooh.
So he's got to do that. And I actually really like this. I was thinking of saying this, that Nixie, I mean, he was dying super easily in that game on the Rogue, and Rogue is basically an immobile and less cooldown, not less cooldowns, but an immobile version of Monk, right? So on a small map, the Monk with the Transcendence is going to be less squishy. Hopefully Asgraf will have to use less cooldowns. It's going to be, I think this is an interesting change from ABC.
Yeah, ABC locking in Nixie on that Windwalker on Hook Point. Now that we see the map here and the composition choice from ABC, what does this change, Supatees?
It's just more durable. I feel like if Nixie is playing well, it's not just going to be Trinket Cloak, it's going to be pre-Fort Brew, a Diffuse Magic, a Trinket Karma, Portal out of line of sight is like the big one, so you just immediately avoid being casted on. It's going to be easier for Asgrat to heal a Windwalker than a Rogue in this particular matchup defensively. It's offensively that I'm a bit worried, because I feel like them going Paladin is no longer an option. I feel like their only option is deep dampening Warlock, maybe attack Mage before dampening. Maybe test if Gelu's running haste or not. If Gelu's haste, attack Gelu. If he's versed, probably you're just have to wait till dampening and then go after the Warlock. So defensively, it's better for ABC, but I'm interested to see if they're able to close the game out.
All right, well, game number 2 here starting shortly. ABC looking to tie it up 1-1 here on Hook Point.
Yeah, honestly, I think offensively the Windwalker Monk is actually better than the Rogue. I mean, it sounds crazy, but I really think with the way Corruption is scaled and the way versatility kind of works for Windwalker Monk, that their damage is really, really high, especially against a Warlock. So I think Nixie's going to be able to get more pressure, he's going to be more survivable, he's going to have more mobility. I think in general, the one thing that's going to be less for him is he'll have less lockdown. So has to really pick his moments. If he gets continually interrupted on his Fist of Fury and his images, then I think it's going to be really, really scary. Alec right now, looking for crowd control. Actually, it's going to be Asgrath under fire. Once again, Mercy taking a little bit of damage here by this Windwalker Monk. Nixie going over, rolling over, actually getting a little damage on Gelu. And it's just Greater Pyroblast City here by Alec, getting Greater Pyroblast on Mercy, onto Gelu. Now Clyde's under fire just a little bit. And ABC right now, they're just all over the map.
Yeah,
let's see if they can keep it up.
Really well. Nixie, one of the things with him is that you don't really think of him as a Windwalker Monk, but he actually won the BlizzCon final playing this the whole time, right? They played the Priest Arcane Windwalker, if my memory's correct. So they definitely have experience running this Mage Windwalker. They're swapping between targets, they're keeping pressure up, and this game looks already much better than it did in game 1. Alec, though, taking a fair bit of damage. It's going to be the DR Hammer of Justice, but he sneaks a sheep over onto Clyde. This could be trouble.
Ooh.
Oh, Alec, though, he procs. Is he going to have to use the Ice Block as well? Yes, he is. That is definitely not the outcome they were hoping for with that full sheep on Clyde, and now ABC once again on the back foot.
Keller is casting Greater Pyros into an Ice Block, waiting to see if Alec's going to cancel it. Actually, no, he's going after Asgarath. Really mixing it up there. Trying to mix it up and catch him off guard. Asgarath does recover. Alec is going to be an exposed target. ABC launch an offensive push here. Nice crowd control into all 3 members of the team. But that polymorph has managed to be disrupted. Gelu down to half, but secures a polymorph onto Asgarath. This could be it if Asgarath doesn't respond in a timely fashion. He's trying to sit through while Alec is out of line of sight. Are they going to swap to Asgarath? Look, he's right in midfield. Hammers down. They could go after Asgarath. Judgment, 2 Chaos Bolts, Greater Pyro, and he's going to have to Divine Shield. Love that swap to Asgarath. Diabolus are really mixing things up here. Sacrifice has to trade as well. If they keep this up, man, they're looking clean to get a 3-0. And do remember, if Diabolus take the series, they are the 4th spot for the top 4 BFA finals. So their qualification's on the line here.
Yeah, Gelu doing an incredible job. He actually switched over his gear, sorry. He's playing a ton more haste in this matchup, so getting these greater power blasts a little bit more consistent, easier to get that damage out as well. I think it's a great option. One lands onto Alec. Asgarath is forced to trinket into an Infernal Stun. This could just be the game. Alec, he gets caught into a triple Shadow Fury. A full Ring of Frost lands. Gelu getting great crowd control. Alec having the line of sight. Right now, looks like the Vitality Conduit is enough to keep Alec alive. Combustion rolls out for Gelu. Triple leg sweep. Nicely done there by Nixie, kind of diffusing the situation. Clyde trinkets, throws up the sacrifice. That was Gelu's trinket as well, so a little bit of an overlap. One greater power blast going to land on Alec as he's forced to retreat behind the pillar. And now, with that attempt coming in from ABC, Nixie did a great job actually forcing a cooldown overlap. And now there's a small opening, but still, Alec just in so much trouble. Hammer of Justice lands. There's no way out for Asgarath. And it looks like Alec will ultimately fall. He takes some healing. I think it was a Battle Master that actually might keep him up. But the fear is still crowd control on Asgarath. Alec getting lower. The polymorph lands, and I think Alec, I don't know how he could possibly live the situation. Clyde rolls up, slaps him with a sword, and that will be 2-0 for Diabolus. A really, really dominant game.
I'm sorry, is this actually a Mage Lock matchup? Both of these games have been like 3 minutes long.
Mage Lock Paladin is it's the comp to push in and go. It's not the same kind of dampening.
It's just refreshing to see, I guess. Diabolus, though, up 2-0 now. ABC is only 1 win away on the side of Diabolus from losing this series here against them. It's just kind of looking not quite as even as I feel like any of us here on the desk would have predicted for this series.
I don't know about that. I feel like Diabolus being able to beat Xset and ABC having really similar comps to Xset, that it's kind of making sense that Diabolus are crushing right now. I didn't like the Windwalker mage, but at the same time, I didn't really like their rogue mage either. So their only third option would be then to mirror with Walrix, which, I mean, maybe that is their best bet because they're going to be playing on big maps anyways towards the end of this. So switch that in, try to give it a go. But it just seems like ABC are just... they're not on point. Like, Diabolus are looking sharp. They're looking on fire.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, some really clean plays there on the side of Diabolus here. ABC really needs to figure something out here going into Game 3 if they want to have they want to stay in this series, potentially reverse sweep them. What do you guys think, Healing Stat? Do you think they need to reverse that composition, go back to what we saw in game number 1, or is there something else we're missing?
I mean, honestly, I agree with the assessment here. I don't think either of these compositions are so bad into Mage Lock Paladin, or certainly to the extent that we're seeing it. I think right now they're just kind of getting outclassed. It seems like Gelu and Mercy have their number. The crowd control on Asgarath is absolutely emphatic. They are landing it off DR. The Hammer of Justice, Asgarath is able... Clyde is able to just play right on top of them, getting those every single time, and it feels like it's way too much of a walk in the park for Diabolus right now. ABC, they've got to figure something out more offensively. Maybe Ace Greater Pyro builds getting exploited, because when you're just spamming Greater Pyro, if it gets denied a bunch of times, you're not crowd controlling, you're not doing other things. Maybe you should go back to some Fireball build and try Sheep a little bit more, take control of the game that way, because so far, this mage lock has just been unstoppable. Maybe bringing Warwick in would be the answer to that. Obviously, Warlock brings a ton more control than any of the melees we've seen so far. But they've got to change something up, because not only is their tournament lives on the line here, their chances at finals, also Enlight is watching this and they're probably very, very unhappy right now, because their chance is also resting on ABC here. I want to see them pull something out, because I know these guys are going to be better than this. And I had this series a lot closer than it is proving to be so far.
All right, well, looks like we are going to Ashmanes, Diabolus locking in Mage, lock again, Clyde's continuing on that Holy Paladin. Not much of a surprise there. ABC now get to pick their composition here. This is their map choice. This is ABC's map choice, as they did just lose that last game, and they're going to be going back to RMP then. How do we feel about this? Or,
RM Paladin.
Pala.
Picked a little bit more comfortable with this, and I think one thing that's really important to take away from this matchup is Alec. He's playing the similar build to what Jamili was playing, the really, really fast Greater Pyroblast build, but I think this build is a lot better into Frost Mage. I think Gelu, if he's running his own haste, you can kind of bully Alec away. You can consistently polymorph him, Dragon's Breath him, and I think the build Alec is running is just particularly good into the Frost Mage, and I'm not sure if I necessarily like it into what Diabolus is playing right now, but Diabolus, they've been having full control over the games. It just seems from start to finish, they're in the driver's seat. ABC, they definitely need to figure something out. Maybe go after Clyde a little bit more in the matchup, and like Healingstat said, throw in more polymorphs on Mercy, just get more control over the game if you can. A lot easier said than done, but ABC, they're going to have to step it up. This is their last chance. If they lose this game, they're out. There's no way they can make it into the top 4. So it really all comes down to this game.
And then speaking of builds, if you guys are watching from home, awc.gcd.tv, you guys can check out what these players are running, talent specs, corruption, all that good stuff. On the side of Diabolus, Sven, how do we feel about Gelu's build here that he's currently got going on?
Well, I mean, he's been mixing it up against the Rogue. He played more versatility. Against the Windwalker, he's played more haste. I'm kind of curious to see what he thinks he can get away with in this one. I think playing a little bit more haste is... I always like it. I always like speeding up the game with that. So, big fan of those hasted pies, but we'll see if Gelu's going to do the same, and we'll see what ABC can get done. They get a sap on Mercy. Let's see how they decide to open. Alec, once again, looking for a Greater Power Blast. Gets denied by a Polymorph. And we'll see how ABC decides to open up and what they can get from this opener. So far, it doesn't seem like too much.
2 Greater Pyros. Mercy Nether Wards, did he get it? He got the Greater Pyro, bouncing it back. But there's more. Alec is literally just casting Greater Pyro in the backline to try and take out Mercy. Clyde trinkets out of blind. Polymorph and Asgrath, this could be trouble. Who are they going to go after? Is it a swap? They're going after Alec. Alec pre-temp shields the Hodge, but the temp shield has subsided. But Asgrath gets out of crowd control. He's got Avenging Wrath. Big Holy Shocks coming in. Alec should begin to stabilize. Clyde's now in a Polymorph. Mercy still the target here. Alec getting counterspelled, trying to find Greater Pyros. Gets Polymorph. Gelu looks to try and set up. Crowd control tossed back and forth between these Titans. Match point qualification on the line here for Diabolus if they want to keep their top 4 spot. They need to win one more game. Gelu getting a Greater Pyro straight onto Alec. Half his health gone. Asgrath looks to recover. Big Holy Shock. Clyde's right on top of Asgrath. Triple stun lock combo. Alec could be in trouble. Nice Shadow Fury for follow-up. They need to push a little bit more for that Cauterize. They're not finding it. Asgrath squeaks through with the sacrifice. They could switch to Nixie, having him already at half health. He would be a nice swap target. Chaos Bolt's flying in. Gelu blinks in aggressively. Polymorphing Alec instead, waiting for that sacrifice to try and switch it, setting up a Greater Pyro. Alec trying to polymorph Gelu. Back and forth between these 2 mages.
Yeah, one nice adaptation ABC's made, I think, in this game is Nixie is no longer running the Relentless, he's now running the Trinket, and I really like that, just to have the extra option. It means that Asgrath's going to be able to hold on to those breakers, because the way Diabolus is playing is very setup-based, and we can see that this is enabling ABC to get even more aggressive as we get the Divine Shield coming out from Clyde. Now Alec the target of choice, and Nixie no longer the target is actually a huge win, I think, for ABC. Asgrath is getting caught up in less crowd control, they have more control over the game, and we know that mages, even with this haste build, are super tanky, so it's going to be a difficult one for Diabolus. They're certainly looking like they're on the back foot here. Mercy super low, no breaks on Clyde. It comes through and they get the Hand of Sacrifice, but now there's nothing left really other than that unending resolve, and ABC looking like a different team here in game 3, and they need it. They need this reverse speed.
Yeah, it's looking a lot better. At the same time, Nixie under fire, and I think Diabolus, they need to change their targeting over to Nixie a little bit, keep him a little bit more scared in the matchup. Full fear onto Asgrath. Let's see what they're going to be able to get done. Blessing of Protection coming in from Clyde. And Avenging Wrath as well should be able to survive, and actually are going to be switching over to Nixie. Don't really get too much. The Feint comes in with the Crimson Vial, and Nixie tops himself off. Full Polymorph, though, secured onto Asgrath. Great crowd control coming from Diabolus once again. Let's see how ABC responds. Fear onto Alec, another Polymorph onto Asgrath. Nixie just line of sighting, avoiding some damage. One Greater Power Blast lands, big damage on Asgrath. The Hammer of Justice combustion as well. Can Asgrath hold on? It looks like he will. Did he pre-Vitality Conduit, that Hammer of Justice? Looked like it. He was just going to full health while stunned, so great job there, and they managed to hold on to their cooldowns.
All right, let's see if they can keep up their defense here as they're on match point, and Diabolus are relentless. Infernals are called in. Mercy's ramping up. Is he going to be able to get any big Chaos Bolts during this time? ABC posted up defensively. They bought Mercy out of the kidney shot, denying the Vendetta and also potentially enabling him to get aggressive. Fears onto Asgrath. Mortal Coil. Nixie could get blasted. Chaos Bolt in the sky. Big hit. Nixie barely gets Cloak of Shadows, but they panic. Oh no, they panic. Asgrath, Divine Shields, Gladiator's Medallion, Sacrifice. Nixie, Gladiator's Medallion, Cloak. That was literally 3 of their major outs on one attack. Dark Souls is available. Nixie dies in the next Hammer of Justice or Asgrath. This could be game over for ABC. Alec is going to have to be the biggest MVP ever to stop this from happening.
Yeah, that was an all-you-can-eat buffet of cooldowns there from ABC. Literally everything served up on the table, silver platter. Now, Diabolos, all they have to do is take the dessert, and this is probably going to be it. Hammer of Justice, wings aggressive, Meteor comes through, but the CC is denied. Alec playing fantastically. The full sheep, though. I don't know if there's that much oohing. Actually,
he's in stealth.
He actually got a clean
vanished.
stealth and dispelled with it. Beautiful from Nixie. He should be singing stealth for the next 90 seconds to 120, I think. He's got some time left over. He will survive. But because they overlap literally everything, there's still another minute to do that again without the Vanish. So Nixie, still terrified for you, mate, as Gelu pushes for another Polymorph.
How did Vanish not break? I mean, Fire has so many different dots. I have no idea what just happened there. Nixie somehow gets a clean Vanish. There's LOSing behind the pillar. Asgrath once again into a full Polymorph, full Hammer of Justice. Let's see what gets done. Gelu pops a combustion. Do they have any more damage? Big damage out on the Nixie. He's barely holding on. He tried with the smoke bomb, but it is not enough. And Diabolus, 3-0 ABC, crushing their dreams of making it into the top 4, but securing the top 4 for themselves. A beautiful performance, and I'm really excited to see this team compete.
Yeah, I am as well. Well done by Diabolus. Well fought by ABC as well. An unfortunate way for them to end their circuit series, but that's going to be 3 of victory for